Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador Vanessa, for inviting me to chair this online panel, presenting these three talented Salvadorian designers from El Salvador, now working and living in the United Kingdom, in commemoration of the International Women's Day. Thank you very much for your words and for this extremely enriching experience. Our three creative guests will talk, as you said, about their Salvadorian roots, their personal development, and the importance of networking in our days. Okay, so with nothing else to say, because we want to hear from them, we're going to start with our first guest, is Alessandra Garcia. Alessandra. Okay, Alessandra. You were born in Rome to Salvadorian parents. Alessandra is the extremely perfect representation of the international woman. She has lived in more than 10 countries, 3 continents. Tell us about your international experience, Alessandra, and the impact it has had on you as a person, as a designer.
Yes, well, first of all, I want to say thank you to the organizers and to you. And basically, my experience internationally has been ever since I was actually born. I was born abroad because of my parents living outside of El Salvador and just moving from country to country. And that experience really enriched me in the sense that it gave me an opportunity to get to know other cultures, different types of people, and also just understand where people come from. And also creatively, it was very enriching because I could be influenced by their colors and their sensibility. And that brought me to actually love design and want to pursue it in my career.
Okay. Maybe we can take a look at your presentation.
Yes.
You studied architecture in Mexico and furniture design in Barcelona. How these two influences have shaped your designs?
Oh yes, they were very important because Mexico is such a culturally rich country that has so many colors and music and influence that it really marked a very special. It has a special place in my heart, and also because university years were very dear to me. And then Barcelona is just an amazing city, and it has such a history of design and Gaudí that I really admire. All his work is there, and it's just a wonderful place to live and study.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Gaudí. What do you like about him?
I just like the way he was just so ahead of his time. He really just stepped out of the box and just did what he felt, what he wanted to do, and didn't matter what the establishment was doing at the time. And I think that is a wonderful way of leading your life and your design.
Mm-hmm. And how has it shaped your designs? Can you tell us about your designs and how you managed to enrich your designs with all your backgrounds?
Yes. So maybe if we can go back a little in the present. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. This is good. Oh. Well, I think it's just for me has been really important to incorporate and recognize what people do around the world. So like in my designs, for example, in this photo, I try my clients to like show me what is dear to them, what they've brought from their trips, and just try to showcase them. And because it's important to keep the traditions alive of handicrafts that are going around, that are available in different countries that maybe you're not aware of because you haven't traveled to them, or because they haven't had the exposure, they might get lost. So for me, it's very important to make sure these traditions are not lost.
we see bright colors. We see the Mexican culture in front. Are those your own touches, or are those, as you say, personal dear pieces from of your clients?
Yes, well, basically, I like working with natural hues and natural materials and just layering and textures, but I love adding a pop of color, which it is my Latin background, I would say, just to have something cheerful, because at the end of the day, your home should make you feel happy and it should make you just feel good in it. And for me, color that's what it does. It gives you a sense of just of calmness, if it's like greens and or blues, but then also like with the oranges and the reds, it just gives you a sense of energy.
Okay, what are Barcelona colors?
Oh yes, well, Barcelona, it's a mix of all the colors as well, but it's just in a different way, because it's a more, I would say, a more structural way. So it's not as bright as the Latin colors, but they still have like pretty much a lot of colors.
How about London? How your clients feel about your designs, incorporating all this brightness in their lives?
Yes, well, I think they're open to it. That's why, like for example, in what you're looking at right now, it's more of a sense of marrying the two things together, which is like the more traditional natural hues with a little bit of color, like just creating a common thread in the aesthetics of their homes through color, but just a little bit, because yes.
Okay, and one interesting question is, you study architecture and then furniture design. Why did you do it? Why was it important for you to specialize in furniture, to add to the architecture?
Yes.
Or the architecture adds to the furniture, which
yes,
comes.
Well, yes, actually, I study architecture, and I did most of my professional experience in architecture in El Salvador. And my clients, I would design homes for them, and my clients just really grew to trust me and like what I did. So then they wanted me also to design their interiors. And for that reason, I also did a diploma in interior design. And then I furthered my studies in furniture design, because over there, everything is custom made to measure. And I just love just creating the whole, not only the outside, or create their homes, but also their inside, and just the whole experience that comes together through everything being designed and just projected from the beginning, just from the concept.
Yes. Something interesting, you also like detailed. Maybe you're going to pursue your studies in product design. I see. Yeah. You like lamps, you like, decorative objects,
Yes, I think they create like very. I mean, it's more about creating little vignettes in your spaces, and these are enriched by lamps and by like beautiful objects, and the lighting is very important, because lighting just creates the mood as well.
Okay, we move on. Alessandra, you are a member of different organizations, I see. How do they relate to your profession, and how does networking adds to your professional development and your own studio or set of interiors?
Oh yes, they're very important, because, for example, I am a member of the Project Management Institute, PMI, which is an international certification for project managers, and you need to earn it, you study for it, so then you become a member of this elite, let's say, just group, and it's just a good way to network, and to just, you have to maintain it, you need to keep your studies as well, you need to do different types of events every year. And then I'm also a member of the Interior Designers Hub, which is this great also professional link, where you get all the support you need to be able to create your own interior design business, and then you have all the support from all your peers as well. And I'm also a member of House Pro, which is it's a platform, it's an online platform where you can get leads to get clients. So you get exposure to that. And then I'm also a member of Internations, which is this wonderful just networking online platform where no matter where in the world you are, I've been a member of Internations for over 10 years, and it doesn't matter where you go, you can always find them. So it's a great opportunity. Some of these are you have to be eligible to, but others you by invitation, or others you can join. So like if anybody needs any advice or needs me to invite them or to any of those, please do contact me. My email is hello@orsetointeriors.com, and my website is www.orsetointeriors.com, and all my social media is @orsetointeriors.
Great. Last question. You're still connected to Salvadorian roots, I understand. You have done volunteer work for many years.
Yes. I used to volunteer as a muralist for Glasswing International, and it was a great experience.
Thank you very much, Alessandra. Thank you very much. It's a great experience, and all the information you have given us is very enriching for all the Salvadorians in the United Kingdom also. Thank you very much. I congratulate you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we move on, and we have our next guest, Carolina.
Hello.
Carolina is a very disruptive talent. We enjoy the presentation, Caro.
Good.
I think we're gonna move on straight to your presentation after we see you smiling. Hello, Caro. First, tell us about your journey. In your presentation, you say from San Salvador to London, how fashion, transformation, and Boulevard relate to you.
So I came to London 17 years ago, and I always wanted to be in fashion, even, in school when I was in El Salvador. But I mean, because it wasn't an area that we had available in El Salvador, I couldn't really didn't know how or what to do about that. So I had the opportunity to come here, and I did, and I had a dream, and very quickly that dream crumbled, because you come to a space that is full of people that have been, following their creative journey for years. And I went to Central St. Martin's, which is obviously one of the top schools here for design, with a bit of naivety, really, not knowing really how competitive it actually was as a school. And so I wasn't accepted to the fashion program. And for me, that was like my first dose of reality that, the world is not that simple, it's not that easy. And I was told, you're not creative enough, your work is too loud, it's not sophisticated enough, you use too many colors, you don't understand form. I mean, all the things that you don't want to hear, I heard them. And, and that really put a dent in my creative, I guess, conviction. And so I thought, well, I'm not really a creative person then, so I should just do something else. So for 10 years, I did not do anything that had anything to do with creativity until I refound myself, I guess.
Oh, I understand that. I taught the course of creativity. I had just arrived from New York, from Parsons School of Design, and the dean of the university, as our ambassador said, I taught at the first creative university, the first career in design in El Salvador. And the head of the university said, please give me a course on creativity. And I told her, creativity, what is it? And, I never heard the word creativity at Parsons, being one of the most creative schools. Creativity was just a way of being, because I never heard the word. So I said, yes, I like to teach at the university, but, what am I supposed to teach? And I said, exactly what you do. So I said, okay, that's easy. you know, if I want to teach, if you want me to teach what I do it, you know. And then I started, but I share with you the same feeling, you know, that, and many people at that time were just seeking a way to fulfill the dreams, you know. I mean, I had all kinds, like I said, weirdos, people, you know, in creativity. It was a course of recovering their self-esteem, you know, because
it is actually, you're right.
You said 10 years you didn't do anything because of that block. And my next question is, where did you find your inspiration to overcome the creative blocks to succeed that you mentioned in your presentation? Where did you find your inspiration?
So I think it came from a variety of places, and I really love this particular slide that you're seeing now, because it took me a very long time of self-discovery, really. And this is beyond, you know, being a designer and creating things, but it's recognizing that we all have gifts inside of us, you know, and that they may have been blocked either by a teacher that said, oh, you don't know how to draw, or you don't know how to use color, or, you know, because we all know someone that if you tell them, oh, can you just draw this, you know, can you draw? And they go, oh, no, I can't draw, you know. And I believe that everyone can draw, like everyone, you know. It's just someone told us along the line, you can't do it, and we internalized that, and then we just went, oh yeah, no, I can't draw. But we all have gifts inside of us, and whether we do it with drawing, with color, with words, with sound, we all have it. You know, it's human nature to have creativity within us. And when you realize that, you know that you can transform the world. And for me, the way that I found this creative magic in me was through getting in touch with my womanhood, you know, and that's why I talk about vulvas. And, you know, and also my indigenous roots. Being from El Salvador, you know, I tell anyone who would listen about El Salvador and about our Mayan culture, because it's powerful. And I use geometric designs to represent that language, you know, that cohesive language that only indigenous tribes like the Mayas would have. You know, they created this language through drawings. No one ever said, oh, you can't draw. That's just how they communicated. And I think we've all inherited that, you know, even if it was 500 years ago, because this is a thing actually, you know. And for me, going into the vulva as a symbol of womanhood and reclaiming my power, not just as a creative, but as a human being in this planet, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be loud. You know, I'm going to be all those things that they told me that were wrong. You know, I was loud. I am loud with my colors, with my choice of symbolism, with unsophisticated colors. And you know what? People like it because I'm not the only one. There's more of us. So yeah, so that's kind of my sort of inspiration / purpose in this world.
Great. I identify very much with you. Education is my passion. And I believe more than trying to educate, we should be more disrupted and search for discovery, you know. Like you said, I mean, talent. If I've asked people, what's your talent? And people very old tell me, what do you mean? What do you mean by my talent? You know, and that's exactly what you say. It's our own uniqueness. And drawing, maybe we don't draw like Van Gogh, you know, we don't draw like.
No, you draw like you. And that's why you draw like you. Yes. And that's why it's important and why it matters. And part of the reason, and I guess this is a good slide to segue into, is I took this idea of, you know, anyone can draw with the right support to a Change Makers program, which is a program with teenage girls, Latin American teenage girls. And the school approached me because the teacher who runs the class, she's amazing. She's a Colombian teacher. And she was saying, I'm seeing these girls that are having problems adapting into society because they're not really British, but they're not really Latin anymore. And they don't know how to express, how to integrate. And so I said, well, let's do a workshop, a textile painting workshop, because if one thing I've learned is that creativity can heal and it can help you refine who you are before all the things outside of the world come at you. And so we took this workshop to the school, and it was just incredible to see these girls. And I had a couple of them message me afterwards saying, thank you so much for bringing this, because I feel like I can actually draw. You know, I thought I couldn't, but I can. And I'm like, yeah, of course you can. And everyone's was so different. You know, they had the same materials, the same direction from me, and the work just was so different from all of them. And then we created a blanket with all the work. And so it was just an incredible way of showing them, actually, you have a place in this world and you matter. So that's, I'm really passionate about that work. Yeah, I'm really happy to have done that.
That's another point. We meet creativity as a psychologist. I work not with art therapy because I don't produce artworks in the sense of I can draw, you know, because but I work with images. As a transpersonal psychologist, you know, I work with images because the language of the unconscious, you know, which is the inspiration for art, it's the body, and that's why we get sick, or the image. So my approach, what I do, my therapy, is that I seek to touch, to empower the people's creativity, and through the creativity they get healed. But it's creativity, the media, to get integrated, to get healed, to get achieve wellness. So finally, I just want you to, if you can tell us about your networking, you know, how are you doing networking? How it's been good for you in the United Kingdom for your work?
So I think I've always tried to find groups of people, as we all naturally do, that fit within our values. And professional networks per se, I mean, apart from the university that I graduated from, you know, I'm part of the alumni there, and it was a great sort of opportunity to be part of that, because I went back to the university before the pandemic hit, and I did a lecture for the students there, and it was great to be able to tell them the things that I wished someone would have told me when I was at university, you know, that you can still have a creative career, even if your teacher tells you, actually, you're not really that creative, or you're not a designer, or whatever, you know, it doesn't matter what anyone says. It only matters what you do afterwards. So that was great. So being part of the alumni network of my university is always a great one. And then I'm very much into social media. So I use groups in Facebook in particular, to join communities of people that are into the same work that I am. So female empowerment, indigenous learnings, ancestral wisdom. And in fact, I've created my own as well, because I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. So I created my own. And it's called Big Bush Energy. So if you want to come and join, by all means, come.
Okay. That you created a phrase, a phrase that empowers you. If you can give a phrase for people who have experienced your same blogs, you know, what would be a phrase you would produce for people who are experiencing what you experience? What would be a phrase? What would be that phrase, you know, that you would give them they should receive, they, you know, to get empowered?
I think, well, I mean, to be honest, part of why I created Big Bush Energy is because in 3 words, it encapsulates the idea that, you know, walk into a room like you have Big Bush Energy, even if you don't necessarily. But what it means is like own the room, you know, and by owning the room, it doesn't mean be loud and be annoying. It means walk with the confidence that what you're bringing into the world, into that room, matters because you matter. I mean, like, that is kind of the essence of that. And also that there is no right time. The right time is now. You know, it doesn't matter whatever. Because I get a lot of women going, oh, but I'm just, you know, I'm just like too old now for this stuff. And actually, no, you know, I run a group where I've had women of 65 years old picking up their paintbrush again because they hadn't done it in 20 years, even though they always wanted to do it. So there is, you know, the moment is now. So that's it.
Exactly. I back you up in that. I went into psychology because people through the creativity course, it would change their lives, you know. So I said, you know, what's producing this this well-being? So all the students from the School of Architecture, the psychology would come to my open courses, you know, to my exams. I mean, to the exams. So I decided, you know, what am I doing that is causing this transformation? Yeah. And it was creativity. So I entered philosophy, and I said, no, it's not philosophy. Then I entered the School of Psychology. And at 41, I entered the School of Psychology with three kids. You know, the little one was 6 months. And I studied 5 years, and I graduated with honors. So, and now I practice, you know, psychology with art perspective, a creativity perspective. So that's what is making, you know, a great a difference, you know, in the psychology approach. So I believe in it's great, your words, because self-esteem is the key of success.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Okay. Now, let me introduce our third star of this panel, Gabriela Larios. Gabi, hello. You have developed a unique way of illustration. Tell us about your Salvadorian roots and the impact it has had on you. We can hear you now. Okay, Gabi. Can you hear us, Gabi?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, sorry. There was something was happening.
Okay, Gabi.
Yes, well, I think I managed to hear almost the whole question that you just asked.
I repeat for you. I said that you have developed a very unique style of illustration. We would like to know how your roots, your Salvadorian roots, have impacted your work, especially in this opportunity of this new book, Popol Vuh, that you have illustrated.
Well, I'll try to make it as short as possible, because, well, I don't know if it's a long story, but maybe not. But I came here to the UK more than 10 years ago, thanks to a scholarship, and then here is where I discovered my passion for picture books and illustration as such. I used to work in graphic design, and I used to like it, but here is where I discovered that my real passion was illustration, picture books. So I started to explore that avenue. And ever since I graduated, what I discovered is that the master's degree was just the beginning of something. It was just like there I planted the seed for discovery, for personal development, exploration, and that's how it all started. Basically exploring where the new environment where I was living, in this case London, a new place, discovering myself as an artist, discovering where I come from, my roots. I don't forget about them, not now, and I don't, and not in the future, because that's not my aim. It's part of who I am, and I'm very proud to be Salvadoran, and I say that through my work, I hope, somehow. Not even, well, not literally, because you don't have to literally say you are from El Salvador, although people who maybe are, part of my Instagram feed, maybe some of them know that I am from El Salvador because I mention it here and there, but it's just that let the word talk by itself. That's my motto, I think. It's not about, saying too much about it, but letting people like discover and interpret the various themes and that I explore through my work. And you talk about the unique style that doesn't come from one day to the other. That's part of exploring, part of being curious, of not. Yes, it's good to look at what other people are doing. Sometimes I'm not saying that's bad, but of course that to also follow your own path. That I think that's the key, and that has happened throughout time, naturally, and somehow also instinctively, I think. And well, here you're showing an image of the Popol Vuh. That is a book cover. It was basically a dream come true to be able to work on this special project. I was commissioned to illustrate all the artworks that are going to appear in the book. The author is the acclaimed author and scholar Ilan Stavans, and for those of you who don't know what the Popol Vuh is the book where the Maya tell their story about how the world was conceived and how the world was created from their own view and from their own perspective. Basically, some people say that it's like the Maya, like the Bible of the Maya culture. So here we see more images of the book and all the illustrations that I developed for the book. They not only ask for the illustrations, for the creation of the illustrations, but also the lettering that appears on the book. The lettering, by that, what I mean by saying this is that I was asked to illustrate also some of the handwritten text that appears on the book. And also the icons, as we are going to see on the slides that I show you later on. Here, there is another nice illustration. Well, one of my favorites, because here you can see Princess Ixquic, and I think it's very well. Maybe it's not a coincidence that I am showing this, specifically this image today, in which we are commemorating the International Women's Day, because when I was commissioned to create the illustrations, I thought, okay, there is a lot of there were a lot of very strong male characters throughout the story, and I thought, okay, that is great, And when you hear about the Popol Vuh, well, for those of you who know about the Popol Vuh, you mainly hear about the stories that that happen to the male characters. So they are the ones who are like not more relevant necessarily, but they are more well known. And then I thought, okay, here I have the power to use my creativity, as a woman, being able to like give power to the ladies that appear on the book. And in this case, is Princess Ixquic. And I thought it was fascinating to be able to illustrate her. And if we go back to the slide of Princess Ixquic, you see, for example, that she is being carried by the owls that are the messengers in Xibalba, which is the Maya underworld. So I think it's a fascinating story to tell, and then that's what this picture here is telling. So that's what I thought that there were. When I was illustrating the book, I thought that I wanted to give more voice also to the female characters, and how audacious they were, because there are many female characters throughout the book that show much braveness. They are so brave, and I wanted to show that through my illustrations. If we see, the next slide, we go back to the previous slide.
One question. What would be your personality trait, your most valued personality trait?
Inspired by the characters of the book, or?
It's just because this is my psychology. Which would you say it's your most valued psychology trait, your personal trait?
Maybe I am disciplined. I'm a very disciplined person.
Because
you answered your question.
Yeah, discipline. Okay, because you mentioned, braveness
and brave. Yeah.
It takes braveness to be disciplined, to succeed in a new country. And most of the time, what we want to put in front of us is what we want to achieve, or we have to offer others. So it's just an interesting question. Okay.
No, I think very interesting question indeed.
Okay. You have also successfully applied it to patterns, to textiles. Tell us about how you market your work.
How I market my work is through agents. I have an agent that represents me for licensing, for application of my artworks on various types of products. In this case, you see examples of my artworks applied on packaging. Before, you saw an example of my work applied on textiles, fabric. Fabric, in this case, fabric by the yard, where people can purchase a slice of fabric and do whatever they want with the fabric and be creative. And here you can see the picture that you're showing right now is a sample of my limited edition shop that you can find online on my website. And what I like about my little shop is that, I am able to express my personal point of view, and without any constraints. I mean, I am able to play, basically, which is also part of my process when I create illustrations. And here I am able to select normally. I'm normally creating new artwork on a regular basis, and I just select a few arts which I think could look well on a specific product, and then I play with it. And that's why you can find on my limited edition shop, along with prints of a few of my artworks. And how I market my work, going back to the question, is through agents. And so that I can focus on my own creativity, which is what I like the most.
I know those two don't really work together. You know, sometimes we spend too much time selling and we block our creative process. Your work is beautiful nowadays. You know, with the computer, we're now even forgetting how to write. And your work brings that beautiful, you know, hand script to remind us, you know, that we express through writing, that our personality, you know, is there also. And it's really great work. The last question is, your work has been recognized with honorable mention and exhibit in many fairs. Tell us about your achievements and the importance of networking in the United Kingdom.
I think especially at the beginning of your career, it's good to be part of this networking, like associations. There are always associations, and not necessarily in the beginning, throughout your creative path. But in my experience, talking from my experience, I joined, for example, the Association of Illustrators, and they can give you advice in regards to how to deal with contracts, etc., and how to price your work, which is, you can become a member. It doesn't matter where you live, in which country you live. So I think it's a good organization. If you are into what I do, which is illustration, I think it's a great organization to get in contact with and to be a part of. I am no longer a member anymore now, because I now work with agents, so they are the ones who do that, you know, the deal with contracts and pricing and everything.
And your exhibition, tell us about your exhibitions.
Exhibitions, yes.
What is meant to you to have your work presented in these fairs? An invitation to other women.
I went in person. For example, I went to a few fairs that were held in Paris a few years ago, and it was a really nice experience to put your work out there and to present it to a new audience. But you can also participate through agents as well, who can like show your work to potential clients. I think it's good. I think it all helps. The fairs help, and nowadays, well, I think I work more through my agents than anything else to promote the work. If you ask me how I promote my work, I think that would be the answer currently. That's how I do it. But yes, I have taken part in fairs and also exhibitions. And I think it's a great. Also, it helps you, or it pushes you to develop new work to present to a new audience as well. If you are looking for like some motivation to develop new work,
right? New tasks, you know, you open new windows and doors for innovation. Okay, okay, you're a great woman. Okay, thank you very much, Gabby. Very much. Okay,
thank you.
Well, now I would like to open. After thanking you for your presentation, I've been getting all kinds of comments, congratulating each one of you, asking questions. I know you've given your information, so you will be getting all that personally. But I would like to open a short space now for comments and questions via chat box. People who want to have a question or a comment, I will read them and I will ask the participants. So I'm going to give a couple of minutes so you can write your own questions and comments. And I would like to welcome another qualified Salvadoran designer. It's a surprise guest. She knew about this event and she contacted the ambassador and she gladly gave her this space for her to participate also. Nadia Quintanilla. Nadia is another qualified Salvadorian designer. She is a design strategist. You know, that's what most firms sometimes we need. We need a brand strategist who can go inside our identity as brand identity. She is running her own design studio called Nadia Wallish Design. Welcome, Nadia. You have a few minutes to talk about your work and why it's important in the field.
Nadia, I'm afraid Nadia has had a last minute inconvenience to join the meeting. So we will be skipping that, but I will be posting her website on the chat box for anybody interested in looking up her work and connecting via her website. Thank you, Milagro.
Okay, great. So we get her link. Any comments or questions from our public? I want to thank everybody who has joined us this morning in El Salvador, afternoon in London for this event. It's been great knowing these three bright Salvadorian stars, their experience, their work, their beautiful wisdom, you know, experience has a cost, and these ladies have given us great cues for our own success. Thank you very much, Ambassador, very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity. You know, you brought light to these ladies and to everybody, all the designers who are participating in this panel. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I wasn't going to talk about my work, but Carol just pushed me to talk about my work. And thank you very much to all of you.